my name is Chitra, and the small town she was mentioning is I'm from a small town of Jammu, from the beautiful state of Jammu and Kashmir. And yeah, so mostly I'll be very honest, I'm not a professional speaker. I'm just someone who would like to share my experiences and how I have tried to do my best to achieve all those things that I've always wanted to do, and many more that are there to come. Little context, because that's very important for all the examples that I'm going to give. As she mentioned, I'm a paraplegic from birth. Initially, I used to have some walkers and calipers that used to help me stand and move around a bit, but slowly with time, they got too heavy to be comfortably used, considering the pressure they were putting on my spine. So I've used my wheelchair since 2008. I've been on that since then. Schooling, college, all done at a place nearby my home because of accessibility scenarios in the primary education system that's there in our country. And yes, as she mentioned many times, when I'm a sports enthusiast, I love to play whatever you put around my way. We made our own version of rugby in school, volleyball, cricket, my favorite all the time. But yes, initially when I moved to a new place, when a new school, people were hesitant, the girls, they wouldn't let me play with them. They thought, what if she gets injured? So humko dantenge. But the guys, they were very sporting, which is a compliment I'm putting out there. So all the guys, you can clap for yourselves. They were very sporting. They quickly picked up on the fact that I had very powerful arms and had a very good throw, and I could receive very well. So very useful in that improvised version of rugby we used to play. And usually when happens with people like me, we don't ever get picked for sports, but I was the first one to be always picked because they knew that I had that unique. That's how I first realized that if I want to do something, I'm gonna have to use what I'm strong at and project in, and then no one will question what I want to do. So what I'm going to do today is give a few examples of different experiences I've had through life. I'm going to just pick 2 or 3 because I think they're the most important ones, because they have not only given me more confidence, but my juniors from college, the other people like me that I have met, they also got confidence that they can achieve much more than they're currently thinking of. So the first one, as you mentioned, post my graduation in the city of Jammu itself, from Jammu University, I moved to Indore. I still remember our professor Rishikesh Krishna, who's currently the director of Bangalore. He was our director at that point in time. And his vision for making that campus accessible, I've never seen any other person like that. And when my parents first went to Indore to see, कि क्या scenario है, कि वो रह पाएगी, खुद नहीं रह पाएगी, because at the time of undergrad, I had got admissions in very good colleges outside of Jammu, but we couldn't pursue that because of accessibility scenarios, so I stayed back in Jammu. And the way he reassured them, you don't worry, we have everything she needs, and trust me, apart from the facilities, usko aur kuch nahi chahiye. My parents also felt confident, although my mother used to live with me for first year because this was a completely new pace, and I was also adjusting to the different environment. Second year onwards, she used to come and go, and towards the last time, I was completely living alone. Indore had 2 flagship initiatives. For the first years, we used to go out of the campus, live in villages of Indore in Madhya Pradesh for a week. And we used to tie up with the local government and whatever the initiatives, jaise us time pe ek to Swachh Bharat Abhiyan still going on. And there was a rural housing scheme that was going on. So we used to participate in that. We used to audit that. And because it gave us a ground reality, ki what's going on, coming from obviously even from a middle class family, we were well off in the fact that we had our own home, we had a clean environment, we had the facilities to pursue higher education. But in those like villages, there was nothing, barely nothing. And that was an eye-opener for a lot of us. And personally, for a challenge for someone like me, right, the first question was arose, how I'm going to get there, because everyone went in buses. Getting on buses, not easy. Then where I'm going to live, because it's a very, very small village. Forget about, 5-star hotels. There's going to be basic accessibility issue of even getting to the room and the washroom. And so all those questions came up, and then we realized the first thing I'm going to do is, let me talk to the people who are organizing them. Let us see how much information they can provide me. And when I talked to them, we realized, yes, there's gonna be धर्मशाला टाइप्स कहते थे उनको. एक धर्मशाला है, वहाँ पे एक रूम है जो सिंगल ऑक्यूपेंसी में है, उसमें अटैच बाथरूम है. I said, just give me the width of the door. That's all I need. And if my wheelchair fits in, everything else I can manage on my own. And they were so proactive. They came back with that information within a day, everything. They gave me information of all the doors, जो गेट से लेके washroom, room, atrium, सब कुछ, because, and they found out, because they were very proactive in that. They realized that she wants to do it, and they came up with all the information. They thought that was necessary. And those 7 days in Ujjain, so much we learned, and the bonds that we made, it also gave confidence to the faculties around there that she does not need to be held back. And next year, when we went out to the Himalayas, I remember, obviously, I couldn't go trekking as much as want. This is not off-road compatible yet. So we went to a place called Ramnagar, and we did lots of team building activities. One particular activity that's my favorite was, there was a river, and they would drop us at one point in time, and we would just flow along the length of it, and they would catch us at one point. So वो उस river में literally हमें बहा दिया गया. And the interesting part about that journey is, everyone asked, how you going to get there? I said, भाई मोटरसाइकिल है, कहते वो हर जगह मिल जाएगी. मैंने कहा वहाँ तक ले जाओगे, उस हाइट पे चलाने का कैपेबिलिटी? कहता मैम हम रोज वहीं से खाना वाना सारा सामान वहीं से आता है. मैंने कहा उतना कर दे भाई, मुझे पीछे बिठा के ऊपर ले जाना. एंड दो दे वर लाइक सो प्रोएक्टिव. उन्होंने एक बंदा पकड़ा, मोटरसाइकिल पकड़ी, वो पूरा हिल था, ट्रस्ट मी, मतलब बिकॉज वो हमें हाइट से छोड़ने वाले थे, उस हिल पे वो मेरे को लेके गए बाइक से. एंड माई क्लासमेट्स दे कैरीड माई व्हील चेयर एंड स्टफ, बिकॉज दे सेड कि नहीं हम भी साथ में चल रहे हैं. सो एंड द अदर थिंग दैट वी डिड वाज जिप लाइनिंग. अगेन आई सेड कि मेरे को करना है, आप बताओ आप कैसे मेरे को चढ़ा सकते हो ऊपर. ही सेड कि हम आपको हार्नेस नीचे पहना देंगे, एंड देन विल पुल यू अप विद द पुली. So the two things I got from this experience was कि first, know what you can do, because even for zip lining you need to have good core and upper body strength. Otherwise आप बीच में फंस गए, जैसे मेरे साथ हुआ, because I was even more bulky at that point in time. You won't be able to pull yourself back. So I told them कि dude, these things I can do, these I cannot. You help me with these two things, getting up to that height where you could zip line very easily. They said कि हम आपको पुली से खींच लेंगे. So I've had cases where people were, even when I told them clearly that only these two things I need, they were not confident enough to let me experience it. It happened at a amusement park in Noida. We were all ready, and we knew they were just normal rides, but they weren't ready. And that's how I know about Warner Bros. Amusement Park. Then there's Universal Studios. And at that moment in time, I was like, Noida छोड़ो, अपन बाहर जाके करेंगे. And 2019 was my first solo trip, like without family, and directly foreign ही गए, इंडिया तो देखा नहीं, सीधा सिंगापुर गए हम. And again, my parents, being parents, they were very concerned. कैसे होगा, क्या होगा, अकेले रह रही है, because दिल्ली तो है नहीं कि जम्मू से एक फ्लाइट लेकर आ गए, right? It's not easy. You can just come to Singapore, and such a big city. And but what I did, I was confident because I checked out what is the accessibility scenario there. I checked out the hotels. I checked out जहाँ मुझे जाना है वहाँ का accessibility क्या scenario है. I talked to a lot of people. my family, they're sitting there in the back. They don't know how much I've worked just to plan that trip. Sometimes they even tell me, तुमको कुछ भी ख्याल आ जाता है, कुछ भी कर देते हो. But most of the times, yes. But इतनी बड़ी चीजें, I try to plan as much as possible because I don't want to, be stuck in a place जहाँ पे they have to come back and rescue me. No, I know what I can do, and I find a way how I want to do it. I talk to people. Nirupama ji mentioned sometimes it's difficult to take help. Trust me, I understand that point. I also don't like taking help because the moment you ask people for help, the first thing that comes in mind, किसको हमेशा ही मदद चाहिए. Seeking help is usually considered a sign of weakness, but trust me, that's not. Because if you can seek help, you are open enough to help 100 more people around you. So that's also I learned something during that time, and Singapore was such an awesome experience. Not because of Universal Studios, apart from that also. The accessibility scenario there, I've never used public transport in my life in India, and there we used cab just twice from hotel to room, day one, and the last day we had to go back. वहाँ पे हमने bus stops use करे, buses every time. Like just नौकरी लगी थी, किसी के पास इतना पैसा नहीं था कि $50 सुबह शाम खर्चो. So buses, perfect infrastructure. Every 500 meters, you'll find a bus stop or a subway stop. Completely accessible, so nicely designed, and that helped during that trip a lot. So that was when I realized ki yes, my thought of doing a bit of research into what I want to do is gonna go a long way and how I can actually achieve it. The day I'm here today is one of the team members here saw the video where I was riding a bike. By the way, that happened exactly a year ago. On 1st March 2023, that was the first time I had ridden a bike by myself, and we just completed a year to that. So how it came about was again is how I had conversations with a lot of people on how to make it work, because the first time you tell someone that you want to ride a bike and they know that you cannot use foot controls is the first blocker is like how, right? First thing is because you can't even balance that bike. And so what happened was Harley Davidson in 2022 had organized a contest, and out of the 1,000 people, I was in the top 13 finalists. And in the final round, they were giving everyone the experience of driving a Harley, which is an experience in itself. The arm of the bike between your legs is altogether different. And obviously, I couldn't ride it myself, but I told the organizer, man, you're gonna ride it, I'm gonna ride pillion. And now looking back on it, there was a very peculiar expression on his face, which I now recognize. He was taken aback. He was not expecting me to go up to him and tell him, dude, give me a ride on that 1800cc bike that's standing right over there. And that was the first ride around on a Harley that I got. I hugged him so tight because he was driving at 120, 140. I was like almost crushed his lips. But that was a different experience altogether. And that day, I realized I was able to, balance my body on that two-wheeler, which did not have any side support. And that was the only question I had in my mind whenever I thought of getting a two-wheeler, how I was going to balance my body when it was leaning. And that day when he was driving in 140, I realized that my upper body is now strong enough to balance on that two-wheeler, even when it does not have any attachment wheels. And after that event was over, I immediately went back to them. I said, dude, these are the 4 things I need in the bike. I need 2 attachment wheels. I need a place to put my wheelchair on, right? And obviously you need to put the brakes and the gears in my hand. All these are the 4 things that I need. You get me this. I promise you I'll ride wherever you want, right? And it took us some time because engineering those things in the safest possible way it's in a completely built up unit takes time, and they took around, I guess, 8 to 9 months to come up with that. And that's the story of how I first time got to ride my bike. The reason I have to go back to office today is I have to ride it again. I have to write it again because someone is coming to meet me. It's been a year and they're coming to meet me for that event. So I have to write it again today. I'm actually looking forward to that. Sorry. So basically what I want to say from all these experiences is ki, as sir also mentioned, if you think you can, that's also right. If you think you can't, that's also right. Because ultimately, if you know कि आपको क्या करना है वन थिंग, और उसके लिए आप क्या क्या चीजें खुद कर सकते हो, क्या उसको आपको किसी और से सपोर्ट लेके करना है, उस लेवल का क्लैरिटी जब आप थोड़े से एफर्ट खुद डालते हो ना, देन इट विल वर्क. बिकॉज अल्टीमेटली इट इज योर विल that will support you in doing the things that you can do, or that would also support you in taking help for the things you can't do. So if anyone, I'm sure a lot of people here have a lot of aspirations, okay? Think about what you want to do. Think about what are the things you can't do in that part, and then take help accordingly. There's no shame in asking for help. Everyone, asks for it. And if you don't trust me, you will be missing out on so much. I have a Tiago. I drive it around every day to my office. Hand controlled cars. Initially, we kept a chauffeur because we used to live very far away from the office. But then slowly I realized कि मज़ा नहीं आ रहा, मुझे गाड़ी खुद ही चलानी है. Again, my brother sitting in the back, he taught me how to drive. We had a lot of fights, by the way, because he's a very good driver. And initially I was learning. He was like, "You're making a lot of mistakes. You're gonna kill someone. You're gonna get killed." But I didn't. I told him, "Dude, you're driving for like a decade now. I'm just started. Give me some time." But in that time, I knew that these are the 4 things that he also very clearly mentioned. These are the 4 things you take care of, and I knew with time I'll be able to learn that quickly. And don't tell them, but I can easily drive at 80-90 kilometers per hour. Probably gonna kill me sitting at the back. And again, with the wheelchair, my parents were first worried that how I am going to do it independently. Because again, chauffeur hai to wo dicky mein wheelchair वगैरह रख देगा. And then we realized the only obstacle, because the hand controls were already there, the only obstacle is how are you going to put the wheelchair. So before I finally asked my parents to कि मैं खुद चलाऊंगी, I changed my wheelchair. I got to this one. This is completely, you can disassemble it. And that helped me to put the wheelchair in the car on my own. I take out the footrest, I take out these wheels, and then I put the wheelchair on the passenger seat. So I can go anywhere I want independently. I don't have to wait for anyone or for my cab. And so again, the point was, you have to know what you want. You have to know how to make it work. And that takes a lot of conversations to many people around you, known, unknown as well, because doesn't mean your loved ones would always have the answers to everything. You have to go out, seek, explore, and that's how you'll get answers. That's the brave conversations I've had in my life, and I hope to have many more, because I want to have many more experiences in my life. And hopefully the next time we meet, I would have some bigger stories for you all to share. Thank you so much for your time, and I wish you best of luck in your life.